Bismillah Rahman Rahim. Assalamu alaikum. Let me start with one more session related to admissions for pre-medical students. We have had one session on this subject before, but we did promise that we will continue this discussion in the future because every year when students come, certain conditions remain constant, but other conditions change. So today I'm going to discuss some conditions which have not changed, but which it is very important for you to repeat in your mind and to understand that we have some misconceptions about admissions in Pakistani universities. When we are discussing pre-medical students, we are primarily discussing admissions at home, admissions in Pakistan. So that should be clear. As a counselor, I do not really advise students. Now, all the opinions may differ slightly. The opinions that counselors hold may differ slightly. And they may differ violently from the opinions that are expressed by consultants, because consultants are professional representatives of universities, and it is in their interest to encourage students to go to particular universities. We, on the other hand, are only concerned with the objectives of the students and above all with what they can achieve within their realistic budgets. Unfortunately, several factors have contributed to the affordability problem that exists today. Many students want to go abroad to study, but they are not able to go. They cannot afford. The reason for that is very simple. One, inflation has increased. Yes, since 1986, inflation in the United States, let's say, has went up 565% in the education sector alone. So education has become very expensive. No one is saying that it hasn't. The second thing is the massive devaluation that has taken place in our country over the years. There has been monetary and fiscal mismanagement, which is reflecting in the ability of the people to buy everything, including educational products, educational services. But to a lot of extent, people themselves are responsible as well. You need to plan your finances for the future. You need to plan your expenditures judiciously and allocate them between three or four very important functions that you carry out in life, and money is primarily meant for them. Two of these functions are healthcare and education. So it is important for parents, especially, but people generally, to plan for their higher education. Now, what has happened in the last 15, 20 years is that a tuition culture has developed in the country, especially in the O and A level stream. So, what happens is that students go and pay very heavy fee in the schools, in O level, in grade 8, in grade 9, and then again in A level. So, what happens? They end up spending a lot of money in the school fee and then a lot of money in the tuition centers. And this happens year after year. People don't realize this because they're paying as they're earning. But when you're paying as you're earning, you are foregoing your savings. And by the time people finish their A level, they do not have enough money saved up for college education, or which is called university education in our country. So it is very important to get rid of this tuition culture, which is eating away at very important savings, which can be used later on for education or healthcare or marriage or other important family and national community commitments. So, having given that background, I want to come back and focus again on the medical sector, on the pre-medical education in A level, and we are focusing again. We are always focusing on A level education. So there are various myths, and these myths need to be debunked, and the corpse of confusion need to be blown away. So, what is the first myth? And the tragedy is that I've been saying this year after year after year, but every year people are coming back and they are saying the same thing. So, before I start with today's topic, I want to address these three questions that keep coming up. Okay, so please bear with me. The first question is related to mm, it's related to the misconception that if I do A level, what's going to happen? Am I going to lose marks when I apply to university? When I actually go to university, am I going to lose marks? Am I going to lose marks in the MTCAT test? The answer is an emphatic no. You are not going to lose any marks. In fact, you are going to be at an advantage compared to the student who is coming from the intermediate stream. Now, this might sound very strange to some people. This might really sound very strange and very outlandish that I've made such a statement, but I stand by it. And if you can come to me, then I'm going to explain to you exactly how this happens. So you really don't have to worry about that. And again, a student who works hard, that student really doesn't have to worry about anything. All right. So, but even then, keeping that factor aside, A level students do not suffer at all. They are not at a disadvantage at all when compared to the intermediate students. In fact, the intermediate students are at a disadvantage. They don't really realize that, but in many ways, unfortunately, they are at a disadvantage. So that is the first thing. That is the first myth that I wanted to debunk. Now, the important thing which will decide whether you have an advantage or a disadvantage over your equally talented rival for a coveted seat in a medical college, that will depend upon your marks. That will depend upon your overall composite score. Now, what is the overall composite score in the medical stream? It is made up of three things. It is made up of the equivalence of your O level, or the equivalency as it's called here, and the equivalency of your A level and your MDCAT marks. So this is the way it's done. 50% of the marks that will determine which university you go to, which college you go to, will be the MDCAT marks. So you have to take MDCAT very, very seriously. I've been saying this again and again, that admission in medical colleges is a challenge anywhere in the world. It's not just here. It's not just with you. So that there's no one is against you. A level, second year A level, if you are finding it very easy and if you're not feeling pressure in A level second year, there's something you are not doing right. A level is all about pressure, especially the second year, because you have to prepare for your mocks, you have to prepare for your midterms, you have to prepare for your admission tests, and you have to prepare for your A level A2 final examination. So all these things you have to do simultaneously. Now there was a time when AKU exams used to take place in April. Today they take place in June, but there was a time they used to take place in April. The A level exam used to start in May, and AKU used to be in April. Why? What was the reason for that? The reason was to make sure that only the people who are most capable of withstanding the pressure of a medical education, only those people who are capable of multitasking, only those people who are capable of doing various things and organizing themselves and meeting tough deadlines through organized hard work and diligent hard work, they get selected for the medical stream in Aga Khan. So these admission tests were not really admission tests; they were competition exams. Competition exams are designed to fail people. Only the best ones survive. Okay, so please keep that in mind. So your O level result has to be very good, because your O level will become will the O level equivalence will be there. Your MDCAT has to be really good. MDCAT is one standardized exam. It takes place once a year. Usually, it is supposed to take place in September, but for the last 2 years or 3 years, I think it's taking place in October. So you give the MDCAT exam, and based on that MDCAT exam, a merit list is drawn up. Based on your result, you can find out which medical colleges and universities in Pakistan you can apply to. Then, based on your result, you actually have to go and apply to those places. Okay, so please do keep that in mind, that if you want to, now there are two types of universities, medical colleges here, and we focus mainly on the two types are the private colleges and the public colleges, and we focus mainly on the public ones, the government ones. Why? Because they are affordable, and the standard of education, the standard of medical education in Pakistan is extremely high. Pakistani um, degrees are recognized the world over, and Pakistani doctors are respected the world over. I always give the example that if you go to the eastern seaboard of the United States, from right from the north, from the state of Maine down to Florida, wherever you go, whichever hospital you go to, and you just mention Aga Khan or Dow, you will be really respected, because these are considered very respectable degrees. I hope that the people and the country that have gives so much respect to doctors, these doctors will return. They will return something to the country by being good to the very patients in whose name they are recognized the world over. Because the way our patients are treated is simply abhorrent. It's just unbelievable. It's horrible the way they are treated. But in the name of these same patients, doctors make their names and earn a lot of money worldwide. So, putting that aside, uh, again, I'm going to say this, that results are very important. You don't have to worry about the cutting of the marks. Are they going to cut my marks? Am I going to get? You are going to get full credit for your A level, for the A level work that you've done. You're going to get full credit for the O level work that you've done. No one is going to cut any marks from your result. You are responsible for getting for getting your own admission, getting yourself admitted into the college by producing a very good uh, score, by getting A's. Basically, that's what I'm getting at. I'm saying that you need to get A's in O level and in A level, and a very good score in MDCAT. So MDCAT is one standardized exam. Unlike the ECAT, ECAT is a general umbrella term which is used for engineering college admission tests, which are different tests in different universities. So what we do is we make a list of five universities, five, six, seven good universities in Pakistan, and then we encourage students to apply there. Whether you are applying to the United States, England, UK, Ireland, China, I can help you apply everywhere and get admission everywhere. But I always say that you should always apply to Pakistani universities, good Pakistani universities, because in good Pakistani universities, the standard of education is really, really good. Don't let anyone fool you into believing that Pakistani education is second to uh, any other country in this region. Okay, in the SARC region, in the South Asia region, in the Middle East region, uh, don't let anyone fool you into believing that our universities are not good. Some universities are. It's like the good, but the bad, the ugly. That's in every country of the world. All universities in the United States are not good. All universities in China are not good. All universities in India are not good. The same applies to Pakistan. Every country has its share of the good, the bad, the ugly. So avoid the ugly ones, okay, and go to the good ones. But we have had examples. I'm not saying that you should do this, but we have had examples of people like Dr. Abdul Qadir Khan, who went to very modest educational institutions, and they did great in life. So that is also possible. It's not a hard and fast rule that if you have to do good, you definitely have to go to a very good university. But yes, if you've done A level, then you must work very hard. The main thing, as I always said, the world is full of intelligent failures. The world is full of intelligent people who are unable to tap their own potential and cash their own achievements. Achieving something is not enough. You need to take advantage of that achievement. So please learn. Life is all about learning techniques of how to capitalize on your achievements. It's not about achievements. Keep that in mind. You need to capitalize on those achievements. So that is very important. Someday I'm going to have a discussion with one of my friends who is a trainer and who I have seen all my life capitalizing on his achievements, and he's excellent at that, and he trains people in that. So that is the second thing. Your results are extremely important. Then the third thing, which often this question is asked, uh, I'm a pre-med student. Should I apply to the UK? Should I apply abroad? Okay, I have just said that Pakistani education is the best in the world. Okay. Then the question arises: should a person in A level apply abroad? Okay, again, many counselors may have different opinions as compared to me, but I always say apply to the UK, apply to the United States if you want to. United States system is very different from ours. North American system is very different from the British system. If you were in the engineering stream, in the computer science stream, in the economic stream, I would have definitely encouraged you to apply to the US. But there are two things: medicine and law. They are slightly different in the United States, and frankly, they are really good. That their system is really good, much better than other systems. And why is that? First, they put you in a 4-year college, in a 4-year university, a full bachelor's program. A bachelor's program in Australia may be 3 years. In England, it is 3 years. In Australia also it's 3 years, but in America and Canada it's 4 years. So it's a 4-year college. So they put you in a 4-year college and they call it the pre-medical. You are not eligible to appear for the medical college admission test unless you have completed your pre-medical, which means 4 years of undergraduate education in a bona fide recognized university. Once that happens, then you will sit the MCAT, set the MCAT exam, and then you will go into what is called med school. From med school, you will graduate, I think, in 4 to 5 years, and then you will also get the licensing exams, uh, which also takes time. So, becoming an accomplished doctor in North America, we are looking at a time frame of about 14 to 17 years. So that is different. It's not the same in the UK. In the UK, you can apply and you can start studying for a doctor. Even if you are not going to England, even if you're not going to England, think over the longer horizon now. Think over the longer horizon. Right now, you have counselors who are there to help you and to walk you through the foreign universities application process, the UK universities admission process, the Irish university process, the Turkish university process. Apply, apply. Applying itself is an education. It opens your eyes. It opens your eyes to what is going on in the world. When you start applying abroad, you see which universities are offering which programs. Which university is good for, let's say, oncology? Which university is good for, let's say, cardiology? You start researching hospitals, which are the best. I remember when I was a student, I researched and I found out that there was a hospital called Shands. So Shands was a very well known hospital at the time. People didn't know that. That was not the internet age. But through research, through the application process, through writing to universities and getting their application packages and applying, it became an education. The process itself is an education which is priceless. It opens your eyes. It exposes you to what's happening in the real world. It exposes you to the application process and the application requirements. If you are if you do MBBS from Pakistan, I always advise students to do MBBS and not stop there. You've done your MBBS, Now you should go, you should definitely go. If you can go at the bachelor's level and go and study abroad in the UK, become a doctor over there. If you can afford it, that's very good. But if you can't, then even after MBBS, you'll have to go to the UK for your FRCP or FRCS. That is very important in the Pakistani market. Remember, in the Pakistani market, a foreign degree matters. Maybe a foreign degree does not matter much outside. In order to be successful in the Pakistani market, there are 3 or 4 things that are very matter. One of those is a foreign degree. It can be a final degree. You don't have to do MBBS from abroad. You don't have to do MD from abroad. But there has to be a further specialization from abroad. So when you go through this process, your mind opens up, your eyes open up. You learn so much so that by the time you're done with the MBBS, and it's going to fly like this. And then when you reach there aren't going to be a lot of professional counselors to help you. The master's application process is completely different from the bachelor's process. There are no platforms. There's no UCAS. There's no Common App. Those things don't exist. You are on your own basically. So if you learn this, what you are required to do when you are required to start applying abroad for your further specialization. And another thing, if you get an offer from a good university, that adds to your credentials. I got an offer from this university. It's something you can feel nice about. It's something that you feel nice about, but it also tells you where you stand in the eyes of the universities and how you should structure your studies at the master's level. So I always say, even if you're not going, apply apply. Maybe you will just get a deal that is worth your while. But even if you don't, you know it's a very good it's a very good education in itself. Okay. All right. So this was the third point, which occurs to pre-med students, and they do get confused sometimes. Finally, I am a pre-med student. Do I need to do extracurriculars? What kind of work do I need to do to add value to myself? Now, that's a very good question, a pertinent question, because you are becoming a doctor. Common sense says that your extracurricular activities should be slightly different or slightly more intellectually elevated, maybe, I don't know, as compared to your peers. Okay, you are a doctor. Doctors are supposed to be uh, they're supposed to show more empathy. They're supposed to. I don't know whether they actually do, but they're supposed to show more empathy. They are dealing directly with human beings, so their people skills have to. Uh, they are dealing directly with diseases. So the knowledge of knowledge of how infections, those things. So those are the things that they need to learn. But apart from that, it is not a requirement, but they are expected to do at least, roughly on average, 70 to 80 hours of work which shows their interaction with their field of interest. Now, this can be okay. Now, work that you do apart from your studies can fall into 3 categories. The first is extracurricular. We all know what extracurricular means. Okay. Simple example of extracurricular: you in a class and there's a bell, there's a break, you go out and you play. There is no connection between the two. You're just unwinding. Okay, it's outside. What you are doing is outside your studies. Extra, it's outside. Okay, because you see, you know, the heart pumps all your keeps pumping. It's like a pumping machine that works for as long as a human being is alive. But it cannot be said about the heart that the heart does not rest. The heart does rest. When one half of the heart is in a state of contraction, the other half relaxes. And the heart is the strongest muscle in the body. So it just needs that fraction of a second to relax, to rest, and then it can come back in the hard work mode. And all parts of the body, they relax and they rest at some point during the day. The only part or the only component of our existence that does not rest is the mind. The mind never rests. It's always thinking. Sometimes its thinking is autistic, sometimes its thinking is directed, sometimes it's involved in problem solving, sometimes it's angry, sometimes it's emotional, sometimes it's calculating, sometimes it's poetic. So the mind never stops. It's just an unstoppable thing. Okay. So when does the mind need a break? So it does not rest. What it needs is a break to refresh itself. Even during that break, it does not stop. It does not rest. The mind needs a break to refresh. That's it. So when does the mind take that break? The mind takes that break when it does something different, when it gets disconnected, completely disconnected from one work that it is doing and goes and does something completely different. So that is when the mind relaxes and refreshes. But it does not rest. There's no rest even then. Even when we are asleep, uh, we are dreaming or something like that. There are waves coming out of our head. So extracurricular activities, think of extracurricular activity as that. The extracurricular activity, the mind wants to completely cut itself away from what it was doing previously. So there's no connection between the two activities. You're playing and you were studying. There's supposed to be no connection. The main connection is not in the activity. The main connection is in the mind, and the mind connects the two activities one way or another. So when you are doing an extracurricular activity, it's outside what you are studying. There's no connection between the two. In a co-curricular activity, the second is the co-curricular activity. In the co-curricular activity, you go together, you consciously go together at the same level. Okay, so you may do something which goes according to you've been given a you've been given something, and something to write, and you look up another book. Okay, or you go visit a library, or you go and talk to someone. uh, you know Likewise, you are you are studying, and you are studying biology, and you go and work in a lab, or you go and do some voluntary work. There is a connection between the two things, and that connection is consciously created. You did not go and work in a mechanics workshop. You worked co-curricular. The work was related to the studies that you were doing. Then there's something called supercurricular. Now, there is a very fine line between co-curricular and supercurricular activities. Supercurricular activities look very much like co-curricular activities. They don't look like extracurricular activities that much, but they look more like co-curricular activities. But in reality, they are different. Why are they different? For a couple of reasons. They are different because the doer of the activity wants to rise above the given syllabus and the given curriculum, and he wants to rise above that and do something extra to showcase his extreme interest in his field. He says, I want to go one step further. You are doing a course in calculus, and the student goes and registers himself for registers himself for a course online. No one asked him to do that. That was not in his syllabus, but he goes and registers himself for a course online, which is advanced calculus. Now, advanced calculus was not in the course. So, but he still did it. Why did he do it? Because he was very passionate about what he was about what he is studying in class. So he just does not want to restrict himself to the class. He wants to go over and above that. All right, and he wants to go and do something over and above that. So it's really in the mind of the person. The person, apparently this looks like a co-curricular activity, but the person doing the activity says, no, I want to rise above that. I want to show my passion. I am and it's not just about showing passion, it's real passion. The person really loves the subject. So such an activity, if you can do such an activity and actually showcase such an activity, this becomes a barometer or an indicator of how successful you can be in a future field. Okay, you were supposed to listen to your teacher's lecture, right? You are doing a course in economics and you are supposed to listen to your teacher's lecture, but no, you go sit in your car and you hear that there's a seminar going on in economics where four lecturers from university or some higher level, four researchers are going to come and they are going to give the lecture. You go and listen to their lecture. So you're going above the syllabus. It looks similar. It's going above that. So this is super curricular activity, interaction with the subject, but at a very high level. And this high level interaction must show your must show and demonstrate your high level of intellectual curiosity and independent curiosity regarding your subject. So now we are moving from co-curricular to supercurricular, extracurricular to co-curricular to now supercurricular. So please try and understand what supercurricular is. So it's all about showing a very high level of passion for what you want to do in the future. It also shows your potential. It also shows your ability to succeed in the future, because if you take interest, you start loving your work and you will succeed. And finally, it shows your potential for future leadership. So through super curricular activities, we demonstrate our leadership capability as well. Okay, so that is, I'll give you just another example. I had some medical students. Okay, and all the students were going to were doing volunteer work. Now this is all volunteer work, right? Most of the students were volunteering in uh, in an eye hospital. So what happens when I get their applications? I will see first person eye hospital, second person eye hospital, third person. They're all doing the same co-curricular activities. No one is standing out. Okay, no one is standing out. But one group of students, and interestingly, they were all girls, they came and they themselves suggested to me. They themselves made the suggestion. They said, sir, we want to volunteer, but not in this hospital. We want to volunteer in Rahat Kada. You know what Rahat Kada? I don't know whether you've heard of Rahat Kada. Rahat Kada is not a hospital, it's a hospice. So it's a place where people go, people who are terminally ill. People go when they have a disease and when the doctors have said that this person cannot survive. So the hospice existed, I don't know whether it exists now, But these students came and they said, we want to go and work there. We want to go and volunteer to work with those people uh, who are now not going to survive. Now, this is an example of what the others were doing were co-curricular. What they were doing were going above the demand of the school, above the demand of the curriculum, above the demand of the work that they were required to do. Okay, so we are now moving towards that. You have been given work to do, study. That's very nice. But what you also have to do is you have maybe you can undertake a project. Maybe you can undertake uh, some activity in which other people learn about a deadly disease. And these days, unfortunately, a disease which people need to know about to save themselves from the effects of that disease is cancer. So that is what I'm launching. And so I'm inviting a guest from a hospital to come and talk to you. And that is going to be on October 2nd. That's a Thursday, and the suggested time is 12 to 1. Please try to attend attend that, and based on that, then you will have a 14-day period in which you will have to design your own project, which will be a super curricular engagement with your field of interest, which will go above the demands of your formal curriculum. So please take this seriously, and this will definitely be added to your number of hours. Please keep in mind, if you're going to a university like Aga Khan, uh, you may require more. The more competitive the university becomes, you may require more evidence, more hours of work in such super curricular pursuits, up to 200 hours. So 70 to 80 is is acceptable, but if you go beyond that, that's much better. I really want to commend those students who came to me in summer. uh, they the level of interest and passion they showed, they were really doing something super curricular. Okay, they were going out of their way. They did not care how far the hospital was from where they were living. They did not have transport. They went there. They showed a lot of interest themselves. They kept contacting me till I found placements for them, and I was really happy with them, and I was really impressed with them. So you are an excellent lot, and I think that. But the only problem was that those activities happen only toward the end of the year. You should also engage in some activities during the year so that the break does not come, because remember, in super curricular activities you also have to show consistency. Universities are not impressed by excellent one-off activities. They are impressed with average activities, but which are conducted and undertaken with commitment and consistency. So I hope that you will take interest in this. I hope to meet all of you in on the 2nd of October at 12 p.m. And this is not just for pre-medical students, though it is very important for pre-medical students, but other students can also volunteer, because this is about life and the importance of life and the importance of health, and how we can maintain our health and prevent the spread of such deadly diseases. God bless you all. Thank you for joining me so late at night. Inshallah, we will keep in touch, and we will continue to work on these super curricular activities. God bless and take care.